25 calls in a month, signed 2 clients. There is a reason for that. And it's not because you need a better system to follow up. So this episode is a Q&A session. It's been a while since we did these Q&As, but we had a few people reaching out now saying, hey, can you answer this question? Can you answer this question? So we actually want you who are following this and seeing this, we actually want your questions. So ask your questions below because we would love to answer them. But there was a few questions that we got that we wanted to address because we know, like working with 900 plus clients, we know that it's the same questions we answer again and again. So if anyone has this question, I know a ton of other people who are listening to this episode have the same. So let's get them answered.
Yeah, you know the questions. I don't.
No.
Meaning that I'll improvise.
So we have here the first question. I have people coming on my calls who are clearly a fit. They are crying on the phone with me. They are so ready, but something stops them. Sometimes they get something out of the conversation that gives them some energy. And then that was enough for this week. How do I handle this? So why aren't they buying if they love it so much?
Because you're educating.
Yeah.
Because you're helping them. And it's the sales call isn't a design to help them with the specific problems. And here's why. So when you are taking away the pain for them during the session, you're also taking away their intensive to move forward with it because it's good enough right now.
Yeah.
It's bearable. And we want to make sure that we keep it unbearable long enough for them to see that enough is enough. I want to make a difference. Let's say that you have a big wound and then you come to a doctor and the doctor injects you with a painkiller that takes away the pain completely. Guess what? The pain is gone. The cause is still there. So that's what happens for these people as well. If they are crying in a call, if they're having a hard time and your heart is bleeding for them so that you can't help yourself by giving them something, what happens is that you're giving them a painkiller without taking care of the cause at all.
Yeah.
So they're going to feel that pain a half hour, a day, 48 hours, a week. It doesn't matter because we haven't solved anything. We've just made them feel a little bit better. So the reason why they're experiencing that is because you educate them. It's because you help them.
Yeah.
And you can't do that in a call.
No. So how should you do instead?
We need to help them to come to the conclusion that enough is enough. I don't want to have this anymore.
Yeah.
Support them instead by helping them realize that they have the opportunity to make a difference with it. They have, number one, the capacity and the responsibility to make it different if they want different. What you need to do is that you need to dig into, okay, good. So I completely hear you. So how does that feel?
Yeah.
What does it feel like?
I can see this is affecting you. What does it mean to you? Keep them there. Let them feel it.
So here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to make the wound bigger by creating a fearful scenario, but we're not going to hold back on, okay, so you tell me what it's like.
Yeah.
Because that's not making the wound bigger. It's just being
What does
real.
it mean to you?
Yeah.
So the questions you use is like, what does it mean to you? How long have you had it like this?
Once they have clarity about their situation and once they feel that, then we can do a reversal of it and ask, so what would it feel like to not have this or to not have
How would you want it to be instead?
Yeah, what would that be like? And then let them paint the picture of what that would be like. Because you can't mind read.
Yeah.
You don't know them well enough to be able to say anything. So just let them paint the picture of what way would life be different if you didn't have that.
Yeah. If they start getting emotional, that's good because it's real. It's important for them. That's why people get emotional. It's for real.
It's connected to their life register.
Yeah.
And if you believe that you can fix it at the sales call, you can't.
No.
You do not put a Band-Aid over a gunshot wound. You don't do that.
No.
So don't do it in a call. You need to realize that it isn't a service that you're doing. What you're doing is feeding your own significance because they are going to remember you 2 weeks into the future. Like, oh, that guy was so nice. Or that woman, she really cares.
You helped me so much. Thank you.
Yeah. I still feel like shit, but you're a good person. Then don't be a coach, be a friend. And then have a job.
Yeah.
Like it's super easy.
Yeah. So you can do this because in a sales call, once you've gotten through part where you uncover their needs, you dig down to understand where they are today and where they want to go. You want to make sure there's a gap between there. And once you continue, before you go to give any offer, you want to let them know that you heard them. So you can get the same sense of that you listen, you understand, you can still get that because you just go into, let me just make sure I understand everything correctly. And then you repeat what they just told you. You are here today and this is the problem and this is how it is. This is what you tried and this is this. Is that correct? Is there anything I'm missing? Anything you want to add to it? And they'll say, yeah, you got this right. What that means is they understand that you hear them and you understand them. So here's another question we got. I would like to have help of building up the flow of my content. How do I get people to see the value of my program and want to book a sales call with me?
Well, so the content isn't necessarily created. We need to think of this in terms of a few different layers. First of all, your content should never be about your program. It can be about results your program have created, like testimonials or case studies and stuff like that. That's fine. But it should never present your program because no one cares. Meaning
that you talk about the topics of your program. So in that sense, it is about your program. But it's not like, hey, I am starting a new...
Here's what's in my program. I have this kind of thing and then I have this thing because no one cares about that. So first of all, we need to look at it from an angle of how do I present this in a way so that it creates an entertaining factor. An entertaining factor could be either of entertaining like they're having fun consuming it, or there is something that they craving the answer for that your topic uncovers. How to create your flow of your content. Don't talk about your program. Talk about the content of your program and be specific about that. That's fair. That's a core value piece of content. Value is just one part of it. The other part is connection. It's just as important. Help them realize who you are in the context of what it is that you're doing, so that they both understand that you're a human being who cares, but also that you're an expert in what you're doing so that you can raise your authority. You could do that by...
share what you believe, your point of view.
It doesn't need to be that significant.
No. What flow of content should I do to get people to see the value of my program? Well, first of all, you need to understand who's your avatar. What is the problem or frustrations they're having? And list down all the problems, all the frustrations they have. And your content should be about those frustrations. So they see that you understand their frustrations. That is one kind of content you'll be doing during a week of content. Pain points and frustrations, you speak into that pain. Then we need to do something that is about value. And the value is like you take something from your program where you do a teachable thing, where you talk about why this is important and what. Then you do content that is about connection. So it's also about trusting you. They need to trust your program. They need to recognize themselves that this is valuable for me. It makes sense for me, but they need to trust you.
And they need to like you. They need to like you and find you as a person like, hey, I connect with this person. That resonates with me.
Then you do a content piece that is about proof. Proof meaning that where you share a client result, like a case study about a client who has the same frustrations and went through some steps you do and got this result. And then you do content, we call it invite content, where you get people to raise their hand. You ask them a clear question. You have a lead magnet. You have a clear hand-raising post where you ask them out directly. And now we come back to, so how do you schedule the sales calls?
So when you're creating your content, you should design your content so that it's easy on the eyes for people who sees you for the first time. So the people that watch our podcast regularly, they are watching several episodes and they are watching them continuously. And that's a different layer. So it's called top of funnel, meaning that we are nurturing people who sees us for the first time. Then when it comes to the next part, which is middle of funnel, the podcast is middle of funnel. It's long form content. It takes care of people, helping people to get to know us deeper.
So content only have one job, and that is getting conversations.
Yeah, I think that's episode 67 or something. You could watch that. And we have several episodes based on DMs, and we also have tutorials on the same YouTube channel that covers the same thing.
So I think we answered the question of what is the content flow I should do during a week to get them to get my program. So there's another question here. I'm having 25 sales calls during a month and I'm only closing 10%. So I'm getting about 2 to 3 clients on 25 calls. So the question here is, how do I follow up better to get more of them to become clients?
Well, the best follow-up you can do is before the call and not after. One of the most common things that occur outside of our programs with people who aren't clients of ours, they're using a funnel that brings cold leads to a call. It could be an ad to VSL to book a call.
Yeah.
That is going to give you a lot of unqualified leads.
Yeah.
And it's also going to come from people who are open to jump on a call for no reason at all. They don't have a reason to be there. If you have cold leads on a call, you are going to have a lower conversion rate. As a founder of your business, you should be able to close between 50 and 80% of your sales calls. How to get to that point is by preparing the calls, booking the calls with the right people. And you do that by having conversations with them before, so you qualify them.
So it says a lot about how you're thinking about your sales calls, I believe.
Yeah, I don't follow up.
So it sounds like, why do you need to follow up? Why do you believe you need to follow up? Because if a person is not ready to buy on the call, you already schedule on that call the follow-up call. So if they, for some reason, get to the point and say, hey, I just need to think about it, you would need to figure out on the call, great, yeah, of course you can think about it, but can you just let me know, is there anything specifically you believe you need to think about right now? Just so I know where your mind is at. And we get the objection on the call, because it sounds like you're not getting the objection. If they are saying, I need to think about it, there's probably an objection you are not handling.
And it's also probably something that you've created.
Yeah.
Because if they need to think about it, it's because there's something that is unclear.
Yeah.
And your job during the call is to create clarity.
Yeah.
So if they're unclear and needing to think about it, you've done something that needs correcting. The biggest decisions that I've made have been in conversations where we've talked about something that is important. And if it isn't important to them, then don't sell to them.
I think it's very clear that this person have an idea, that we have a chat and then we see if they want the program. I don't think this person is following a clear script. And I have an idea that they don't know, like they're afraid of doing objection handling. They're afraid of getting the no. So they would rather...
It's nicer to have a maybe than a no.
It's nicer to have a maybe than a no. So I think this person is afraid of getting no's. But what you really want to have on the call is clarity. Is it a yes or no? Or a clear next step. So it's not like, how do I follow up? It's like, what is the agreement about the follow-up?
Yeah. If you haven't talked to this person for 4 days and you're like, how do I follow up with this person? Well, you're in a pickle. It's not easy because it's going to come out of the blue and it's going to feel salesy. You're there to stand up for something that they desperately want and help them to get that.
So you need clarity, because if you need to follow up, you're lacking clarity. You have no clarity. Is this person interested? Is this person thinking about it? What is the objections? What's holding them back? That clarity you should have in the first call.
If you had to follow up with someone you had a call about, then figure out, so what's a natural way to speak to this person? And then send them a voice message. Hey, I just want to check in. I've been thinking about our call. Just want to check in. How are you doing? Because that's a reason for them to feel like, okay, it's connected to something that we've talked about. And then they can respond and invite a new conversation so that you can start kind of over again.
Yeah.
From
the next call, you start making sure I'm here to get full clarity before we go out. And I need to have a very clear scheduled follow-up if I need to follow up, if I can't close on the first call. So there needs to be clarity. That's what you need to do on the next call. And right now, the follow-up you need to do on these 25 people that you did not close is for you to get insights.
Yeah.
It is for you to learn. Yeah. It's like for you to, hey, I'm just curious. What did you take away from our call and where you're at right now? Listen to what they're saying, because that's your lesson.
Yeah,
they're lacking some.
You could even ask, hey, so what was the thing that made you not join my program? Just so that I can learn. Instead of going for the follow-up, go for the close. Go for making that change, helping that person make that change for themselves.
Yeah. Great. So if you would like to get help with your coaching business, or at least get some insights to what is it that you need to fix right now, what's your bottleneck right now, and what should you be focusing on right now, go and schedule a success session with our team. There's a link down below. Schedule a short call to get clarity for yourself. And if you believe what we do is awesome, and if we believe we can help you, we can have a chat about what it would look like if we were to help you in any of our programs.
Yeah. And while doing that, also don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you in another episode.
And see you next week.